So next we need to line our purse, and for this I'm using an old pillowcase. You don't need to go out and buy loads of fabric, look around the house and see what you've got. So put a fold in the fabric, and then I'm placing my purse on top. And using a fabric pencil, I'm going to draw around the perimeter of my purse. And I'm going to have the nice side of the fabric facing out of the purse. And there's our basic shape. So to make this fabric easier to work with, I'm going to make it smaller by cutting around the shape that we made. I just don't want all this fabric hanging around when I'm trying to sew the shape together. And now it's time to start sewing. If you have a sewing machine you could easily do this on that, but I'm just going to hand sew this little piece because it's only small. So I'm going to take a large amount of black cotton, or any cotton you want. I'm going to thread it onto a tapestry needle, and I'm going to double it up so it's thick. So I'm going to tie a knot in the two ends. And for now I'm only going to sew the bottom of the purse together, so I'm going to leave the top open. So doing a running stitch, I'm going to go just inside of the blue line that I drew, and I'm going to do a running stitch all the way around to the opposite side of the lining. And when I get to the last stitch of this row, so I'm halfway over to the opposite side, I'm going to turn the work and I'm going to sew all the way back again, just to make this seam a little bit stronger. So a running stitch all the way back to where we begun. And I'm going to do a couple of stitch overs on the same spot when I'm finished to tie off the ends of my thread. And the bottom of our lining has been joined, so I can snip the thread and if you can see, it's a really unneat line, but you're not going to see it inside of your purse. And now we're going to cut off the bottom part of the fabric as close to this line as we can, so it fits nice and neat into the bottom of our purse. So you will see in a sec, there we go. I'm going to get rid of all this excess material at the bottom. Be careful not to cut any of your stitches or they'll start to unravel. But just cut as close as you can. And then remove that excess bit of material. Now if we bring our purse in and we have a little play, we can see how it's going to fit inside. So it's now time to attach the top of our lining So I'm going to make sure the inside of the lining is exactly where I want it to be in the purse. And then I can see what excess material I have left to cut off. There we go, so I've got all this material and I won't need it all. So to make it easier, I'm going to trim around the top, leaving about 1 centimetre I'd say, from the top of the purse. So we're now going to attach our lining, and we're going to attach it to the extra single crochet row we did at the very top of the purse. And I'm going to use my embroidery or my tapestry needle again with the black cotton doubled up. And what we're going to do is fold the edge of the material over ever so slightly so it just fits exactly against the last single crochet row of the purse. And I'm going to do a running stitch around. So I'll do a few stitches and then I'll fold the next section of the work and then sew that into place. But make sure you don't pull your cotton too tight, because you'll just scrumple up all the edge of the purse and the clasp won't fit on. Because the edge of our material isn't completely oval, you might need to double over some of the pieces of cloth, so as you fold them over, push some bits behind others if you need to, just as long as you have this nice neat seam along the side. I hope I'm explaining it, I hope you can see better than I'm explaining it, because I'm not explaining this very well. And once you reach your first join or your first seam of the purse, just take your time, make sure you fold the material extra neat before you sew it into place. And once we get to the opposite side of the purse opening, we're going to continue with the same, folding up the material and sewing it in along the top single crochet row. So you can see how it's starting to look. So I'm just finishing off the last couple of stitches of the lining, and I'm going to do a couple of little knots inside of it to secure the thread into place. Then I can snip it off. And that is the purse lining done. So now we can put things in it without it falling through our crochet holes. So now comes the real fiddly part. We need to attach the clasp to our purse. So the clasp was off eBay, and I'll leave a link below to where I got it. And we're going to use the holes in the clasp to attach it to our purse. So this is fiddly, you just need to take your time and do it really slowly. So I'm going to take my tapestry needle with my doubled black thread again and thread it through the side of the purse opening and then through the first hole on my clasp. Now I'm just going to position everything into place. You want the single crochet row of our last row of the purse to fit behind the clasp. and we're going to weave our needle in and out of the holes in the clasp, attaching it to the top of that single crochet row, the same row that we attached the lining to. And this is much easier with the clasp open. And I'm going to do a back stitch. So I'm coming out of one of the holes and then going back and threading it back into the previous hole on the clasp. And then taking it to the next hole and working back again. And with my left hand I'm holding the purse in the back and pushing it up tightly into the clasp and holding it into place as I thread my needle through. Just always make sure that your needle is going through the purse and the clasp. And it can be a little bit hard trying to find the hole in the clasp from the back of your work, but you will do it eventually. As you can see, I'm struggling on this one. There we go. So as you can see, I'm going back into the previous stitch to do the back stitch. And at different intervals, just reposition the work to check that everything's where it should be, because you obviously want the middle of the purse to be attached where the clasp holders are, where the clasp handles are. So you don't want to be attaching the purse too loosely to the clasp. I'm going to do this all the way along this side. And that is the first side of our clasp done. So it looks nice and neat. It's now time to repeat all them steps again on the opposite side. And now that I've finished, I'm going to fasten off my cotton, and our Lucy Bee purse is complete. I really enjoyed making this. I think it's so cute and I already know who I'm going to give it to. So there we go. If you like this, please like, comment and subscribe. It's so important that you do. It'll encourage me obviously to make more tutorials. If you make any of these, tag me on Instagram and hashtag Teenie.crochets. And other than that, have a really lovely day and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye now.